got a Factfinder recall alert for you. Several brands of eye lubricant eye ointments are being recalled due to the risk of infection. Federal inspectors are blaming unsterile conditions at a plant in India where the products were being manufactured. The brands affected include Equate, CVS Health, and Lubricant PM. Those who have the ointment should stop using them immediately and return them to their place of purchase.